Good morning, guys. Happy New Year. Happy 2018. It is January. It's almost that kind of blue Monday. I think it's the 21st is the darkest, most depressing day of the year, apparently. It doesn't feel that way today. It may be pissing it down, but I am feeling good. We are bringing all this stuff that I went and got from my sisters a couple of weeks ago. It's all going in the house today. We've got Josh here, who helped a few times last year and hopefully going to be quite a bit more involved this year. And it is beginning. V2 is beginning. And this month, it's going to be about moving the huts over here and clearing that site. Leaving well over there is of vital importance, making sure it's completely finished and that we didn't damage it. And secondly, I'll be going to Spain next week to see my friend Virginia to help her set up. The Mini is not the most appropriate vehicle for this long lane. It's about half a mile off the main track to get to here, to Brenda'S cottage. And I actually, about 6 months ago, came for coffee and sat in the kitchen with Brenda, who lived here for 60 years, lived her whole life here really, raised her kids here, tended to the farm, and she showed me old pictures of it from the 80s and the 70s, and when the kids were running around. She said she got snowed in here for 3 weeks at one point, and that was one of her best memories. So this is now going to be called Brenda'S Cottage in homage to her. But today, I guess I'll just better begin. This reminds me, we need to get our old water butt over here. We've got so much roof area now, hopefully for solar. This wood store alone is much bigger than any of the huts I ever intend on building. This is unbelievable. You're like professional Tetris players.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Yeah. Go around a bit more.
Oh my life. Oh mate, it's not even going to want it, is it? How is that going to work?
Oh dear.
Oh dear. The hinge doesn't help. Ah. It doesn't fit. It's not ideal. This huge L-shaped sofa, I'm hoping, just fits here. If it doesn't, I'm shafted. Oh, that is much better. I've still got no idea if this L-shape's going to fit in this room, but...
Just about to find out.
What's the hunch? Is it going to work?
Should do.
Yeah.
Be alright.
Oh!
Meant to be.
Oh, it's like a peach. It's absolutely gargantuan, but it's going to work. Oh, look at that, down to the inch. Woo. Just enough room for the old couple of wing backs in there as well. It's lucky, isn't it, mate?
Perfect.
This is the Oval Office, the dining room. This is where we'll have all of our conversations. And look at this incredible furniture that Brenda and Sally left us, and this is what I'm most excited about, the pride and joy, the keys, the piano. We will sing a new song in this house, Brenda. All of this is from my grand's house. She died a couple of years ago. Last week we actually had the funeral for my gramps, my grampy in Cardiff. That was a very special time, but it does feel like the end of an era because that's all four of my grandparents now that have gone, and it sort of feels, and in the same week my brother had a baby, and so it feels like the whole generational shift has happened. So yeah, I'm proud to have some of my grand stuff in here. I've got some of my gramps' tools as well knocking about. These are all of the rest of the handbooks that haven't gone out yet. I really am so sorry that they haven't gone out yet. I've been slow as you like, but now we've kind of got a base, I can sort of actually manage it. So everyone's got their names on it. Sophie Hine, Emily, Mark, these ones are all coming to you. If you have not sent your postal address to trae@corcova.do, corcova.do, then please do that right now, because I'm literally going to be doing these myself in the local post office, so I'm going to need to do them in batches, so please send the addresses. Also, I'm going to send you a link to how you can download the e-files in the meantime, and then it's going to be available for other people to pay what they want to download as well. But I want to make sure that you guys, you Patreons, get it first. Patrons, get it first.
Yeah.
Mobile shelving. Oh wow, that came together quick.
Ta-da.
Good work.
Autumn throws what summer grows, like morning shows the night,
Amen. This is all soundboarding, so that it's going to go into the little room upstairs, which I haven't shown you guys properly house tour yet, but if you go onto Louis's channel, Fun for Louis, I'll put the link in below, and at the end of the video you can see we did a proper house tour on his channel, and you can also see Alfie's perspective. He came down that day as well, and he is coming back with Sean in a couple of weeks, and we're going to do a 3-day challenge. If you saw the van 5-day challenge last year, it's a little bit like that, but 3 days, 3 people, 3 rooms, and we're going to get this place up to scratch. Bum, 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 bum. We officially have a Gargia. The beans go in the top, somewhere in there. Is this or is this not one of the most mighty fireplaces you've seen? Caveman's telly now goes indoors. But guys, this is going to be the library of Corcovado. I've got so many books to put up there already. I feel like I'm going through the ages of human history. I feel like I've gone through the caveman age. You know, feeling what it's like to have no resources set up for you. Now I'm kind of jetting forward into like the Victorian era. But things like, for example, this amazing Rayburn boiler provides the boiler for the central heating, and it is the oven. It's called a Rayburn. It's like an Arga, but gas powered. It looks amazing and it feels great, but it's not sustainable. It's all set up in that kind of industrialist era, not thinking about a renewable future, not thinking about how we make stuff fit for the 21st and 22nd century. We're trying to explore how to restore a place like this to make it fit for the future, so that it retains its history, heritage, character, and quirkiness, but also is fit for the future and allows us to build a life going forwards that's an appropriate response to the world we find ourselves in, that can be replicated and everyone can enjoy. There's no point doing something if it couldn't be replicated and scaled and enjoyed by lots of people. Otherwise, that's a bit selfish. I need to use this privilege that I have to have this opportunity to experiment, have the time and the resource and the chance to talk to you guys over the internet, to try to move towards solutions that work. And it will look different in different places all around the world. That's cool. But there are going to be some ingredients around community and sustainability that are going to be concurrent everywhere. But also, guys, we all know that YouTube can be quite a narcissistic place. I film myself, I talk to a phone, I watch myself, I edit myself. So look, if you hear me talking rubbish, talking too much about my own personal life in a way that doesn't add value to you, the community, doesn't add value to the wider world, call me out on it, put it in the comments, hold me accountable. I'm not going to get it right, I'm not going to get it perfect, but I will listen and I will try to continue to make this about real solutions in the real world for real people, especially those who need it most. I will be honest, there will be good times and bad, but also we need to keep it all in reality, all in check, all in relationship to what's really going on. And my arm's tired.
Stolen time runs through my mind, still can't describe.
One of the things we've been thinking is whether we could hook that up to a cycling dynamo, so that basically it only runs if you're actually putting your own energy into making it happen. Now, I don't know whether you can get the kind of kilowatts out of a bike dynamo that we need.
In the evening, I'm ready.
Right, that is it. The delivery is finished. I've got a bunch of stuff to come tomorrow. Thank you so much for your help. Appreciate it. If you guys need any help around here, check out GA Loma and Son. They'll sort you right out. Guys, this is the big gas tank I was talking about that hopefully will get removed in the end because it's not really fit for the future. It is what's currently keeping us warm. This isn't a purist year, this is about a direction of travel. I'm not a vegan, I don't know if I'll ever become a vegan, but I do want to get more towards a plant-based healthy diet. I do want to move this cottage away from energy inefficient towards efficiency, and it all depends about who comes down, who helps, what connections we find, because I certainly don't have the solutions on my own. But for now, let's just get the cushions in. I couldn't even fit all the cushions in my car because they're so big.
Right now, I am wearing part of my collection, which is designed to assist refugees. This is actually a jacket that converts to a tent that can fit up to 2 people. It's waterproof, weatherproof, and I'm also wearing a shirt from the collection with reflective tape to attract attention. And so all of the clothes, especially the ones I am wearing now, are unisex and one size as well, trying to respond to the issue of shelter for a refugee.
Awesome. With heels on as well. Gangster. Okay, so Angela Luna, we've been in contact for over a year. She sent me a reflective jacket And when she gets some more stock, I want to get that jacket that turns into a tent. I love seeing innovations that are designed to be cool and to solve problems, especially for those who need it most. I love, as a digital nomad, I love seeing the similarity or choosing the similarity between me and those that are nomads but not voluntarily, people who are displaced, people who are refugees. And I love working with people that are thinking in a similar way. How do we narrow the gap? How do we make friends with people that are different than us? Okay. Let's try this on.
They can't have mine tonight. Let's spin it out of space with the satellites. Can't hide it once like you were hard to find. Pulling out all the stops, play hard tonight.
That's a bit more organic, isn't it? For the
Bit more woody.
bit more woody, but then if I'm cycling late at night, I might spin it around to get the reflective.
Yeah.
Angela, keep doing what you do. It's amazing. And I'm sure that people who watch these videos will like it. I'll put your links below. We'll check you out. I'm not being paid to wear this. This is just because I genuinely love the product. So go check it out. As you know, last year I kind of did an on-off grid living, internet-wise, on-off grid, by sort of being in the woods with no phone and no internet, and then leaving and then uploading these videos and things like that. This year, I'm trying to get it more into a daily flow. So the idea is that in the morning, we come in here, have a coffee, we use a bit of the internet, sit at the table, do some work, and we want good signal, good upload speed, all that kind of good stuff. But then I want it to power down. So we want to get good boosted signal, and then we want to block the signal to make sure that we enjoy the breadth of the internet and the depth of the analog reality that lies outside this window each and every day, rather than doing it sort of split week. So that's the idea, and we're getting there. We've got a bit more infrastructure needed. It's kind of like the best infestation you could ever have, but I've got like an infestation of ladybugs in it, like living in
Spider.
and a massive massive spider. Yeah, lots of spiders. Oh my gosh!
Oh wow.
I was not wrong about the ladybugs. Look at these guys. Have you guys seen anything like this in your life? I am flabbergasted. If you know anything about ladybirds, please do tell me, because this is weird to me. Oh, already this is feeling much more relaxing. We've just been sitting chatting for half an hour or so. If you saw the Hutspiration tour, where I went round and tried different people's huts out, you'll know that that was where I realised we need a social space, a hub in the centre, where we can gather people who are staying there and people in the local area. That's when I started looking at the barn up the road and started thinking about where could I go to have more huts and a hub, and that would be the modern hamlet. And that was evolved into the idea of having the cottage here and then having a number of huts around it. One of the challenges about taking ideas from sort of up in the sky and making them a reality is you start realising where the edges are and how you do this well with the other people that are involved. I held a meeting a couple of weeks ago to invite the local neighbours and residents to hear what I'm up to. And the message I got from them was basically, we don't like change, we don't like the unknown, we're nervous about what you'll do and where it will end up. And they've seen things go badly, or people have said one thing and done another in the past, which I understand that and respect it. And so really I'm coming in here as a resident. I'm not planning at the moment to build any more huts, just to finish off the one that I was building, and instead put our energy into building the network and helping you guys facilitate putting a hut or maybe a mini hamlet in where you are. I only want to have as many people as you would have in a normal house to sit around a nice big family table and have that dynamic where you've got 5 or 6 or 7 people sitting around for dinner. Everyone's engaged. And that's why we want to have a round table next door, because when we sat in the Jungle Room cafe down the road the other day, and it was sort of 5 of us sitting around there, there's no room for social loafing. There's no room for someone to be on their phone or disengaging. You can see everybody. Everybody's a part of the conversation. And I think that that's a really important part of the culture of what I want to enjoy here. So we will be developing things like the brackets, which I'm going to show you in a minute. But that will be so that you guys can start thinking about where you want to make huts spring up or mini little hamlets spring up around the country and around the world, rather than trying to build a big centre of gravity here, because I just don't think it will work or be sustainable or fit in with the environment here. I think one of the core things for any base where people are going out to the countryside is having a budget set aside to invest in the local businesses, to create local employment, to support what is already there. We talked about that last year in terms of ecology, finding what is already there in nature. But this year it's kind of finding what's already there in the people and businesses and creative endeavours that already exist in the locality you're going to. So I'm thinking we need to put aside something at least like £500 a month to be making sure that we're investing in the local food, local workers, local farmers, and play our role here, you know, make sure that we're actually a good thing, that we actually benefit and we actually bring different skills and learn from those skills that are already here and hopefully do a bit of a transfer. Like last year with Ali, you know, he taught me all about growing and I taught him all about Instagram, and they were both completely alien concepts to both of us. So I think that is where the trade works well. You can actually go onto the corcovar.do website right now and download the e-handbook, which you can look at on your iPad, on your Kindle. There's a version where you can print it off on your home printer instead of waiting for me to get around to deliver it to you. Come out to the new tool shed. I want to show you the brackets that we've been designing and making. The drawings for these brackets we're actually going to put on the Corcovado shop as well, so that you can pay what you want to download the drawings and then take them to a steel fabricator of your choice and get them printed in steel or in any other material. It would be great if you guys did them in other materials. I haven't even thought of that. And then show us what you come up with. But here we are. Look at this. Love it.
Doesn't get simple.
Dun dun dun. That's the other fridge I need to figure out what to do with. And these are the brackets. Oh crap, hit my head again. I'm gonna have a lumpy head by the end of this. So these I am really proud of. This is the first thing I've ever sort of conceived in my mind, drawn down on paper, and then got made in the real world. So it's been a lot of fun. Did it with my friend Mike. And obviously the first hut came finished, and so we just made some alterations like the experimental kettle. The second hut I drew what I wanted in terms of a steel frame and it came fully finished. But we want to go even deeper this time with the third hut, whether that gets made here or somewhere else. It was difficult to put the wooden beams and the wooden struts to the steel frame. And actually I really like working with wood. It's a lot easier to work with wood and you don't need so many complicated tools. So the idea this year is that you just buy yourself or make yourself a set of these steel brackets and you can just slide 4x2s into them and then screw them in through these pilot holes. This is galvanized steel so that it can deal with the rain and it won't rust. If we make these huts in 2.5 meter cubes, so it's 2.5 meters from here to here and 2.5 meters from here to here, so you make a cube like that. Then if you want a small little cube of a hut, well, you've got it. If you want a normal size shepherd's hut, then you put 2 of these cubes together. And if you want a massive one, like the one we've been building, that's 7.5 meters by 2.5 meters, then you just add 3 modules all together. But it means they can be constructed in fairly small spaces. It means that you've got a modular system. And so that means that wherever we're building these huts, we've got sizes and shapes that have got similar basis and a good solid foundation, but yet we can use reclaimed materials, we can use, we can take down trees ourselves, or we can even buy it from the timber yards if you haven't got those things available. I think what it does is gives just enough structure so that it can enable creativity, but not too much that it's flat pack and all the work's been done for you. You actually get to make some decisions for yourself, think about it yourself. And I am so excited to see what you guys start making with the designs for these brackets. You could make these brackets out of like recycled plastic or some polymer. To prototype these 2, it cost 250 quid. And they reckon if I buy 100 of them, that they'll only be £50 each. I wonder what you guys think about that, whether you've got any other ideas. Let me know if you can think of another way to make it even more effective, efficient, or stronger. Let's go and get some food. Now that, as you can tell, was absolutely awesome. This is the Jungle Room Cafe. You should go and follow them if you get a chance. It is at the back of a nursery called Big Plant Nursery. So they've got all these flowers, all these plants, all these trees, and it's a pretty good spot I think, oh, look at that. Delightful. This is where I'll be meeting people, coming to catch up, or if we're meeting to go into the woods, it's a nice place to make sure people are fueled up. I'm going to be working with Bruce to figure out like what plants are most needed in the area that we should be planting, what plants would be good, create the right kind of experiences we want for people and want in the garden and in the fields. Basically, they're just good people here. They've been open to me and what I'm up to and my friends that I've been bringing down and making me feel at home, basically. Check it out, it kind of looks like Corcovado rainforest territory.
Push me forwards, can't ignore it any longer. Wanna climb out of our minds tonight, I know we'll find in the evening.
Oh, what a beautiful day it's turned out to be.
I'm ready.
Look at this sky.
See, we were made for, so believe me, we'll stay.
That took 4.5 minutes to drive. It takes 11 minutes to walk the driveway. I'm really appreciating now what I had in the woods. It may have been simple, it may not have always been warm, may have had to still depend on outside places, but it had an incredible quality of silence, which is incredibly rare. I actually linked below this lovely bossa nova song called Corcovado that I love listening to, always have done. Da 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 da. And then it says something like, in the silence that surrounds us. And it's not something that is easy to think about, but quality of silence has definitely become one of the most important things to me in sinking into that sort of lower level, that peaceful place, and letting go of the normal monkey mind that we have each day. We've got the main cottage here, and then we've got 4 outbuildings. You've got the garage, you've got this massive tool shed thing, which is like not even a tiny home, it's like a midi home. You've got the greenhouse, and then you've got this special little thing that you can't even really see that is behind this hedge. And if you come in here, you can see this little building with a little cover, and it's like another tool shed, but it's quite big in there. You could definitely get a few people sitting in there. It's like a secret garden hideaway. I think it could be really good for kids, and so we need to figure out a name for that, but I absolutely love the camouflage on it. I think it's like a hidden little world. I've realised since being in a different location with different trees that there's something specifically special about these trees, about these Scots pines. These are a little bit younger than the ones that I was living in last year, but they are both the colour of them, the sort of the reddy brown, and the fact that at the top there is this sort of canopy that's not too thick, but it creates a sense of feeling like you're inside the woods, especially because they've been forested and managed. They've not got the branches, so you have this nice spaciousness where you can see a long distance, but you also feel like you're in a room, like in a big nature room, whereas it feels completely different to being in the oak trees, which are over there, or in the fields where you're just in arable farming land. Just being in here now, I feel like I could be anywhere. I could be in Canada, I could be in California, I could be in any kind of wild, I know it's not fully wild, but it feels much more like the wilderness than the farming land. I feel much more at home in here than, like, this is what makes sense to me. Oh yes, the stream. Oi guys, check it out. That is gorgeous. Yeah, it's clearly been looked after.
In the sky, cause we fly tonight. They want what they can't have. Your mind tonight. Head spinning out of space with the satellites. Can't hide it once like you are hard to find. Pulling out all the stops, play hard tonight. Hop on top of the
bats.
past tonight. And dance till we can't stand till the morning light.
Wow, look at these birds.
You are hard to find.
And this is what I love. This tree here. The tree of life. I'm hoping it's an apple tree. Absolutely love it.
Gotta get it while you can. You gotta get it while you
Quite an exciting journey, finding the tracks, finding the paths, There's a tree I'm reading, a tree. There's a book I'm reading at the moment called The Wisdom of Trees. And there's stuff in there about, well, all sorts of trees, but there's something that really stuck out to me about apple trees, and that the seeds are heterozygous, which means that unlike most other plants, the DNA doesn't carry the same replicating information. So if you take a seed from an apple that tastes a certain way and you plant it in the ground, you might get a completely different apple tree. It's like the creativity is completely brand new in every single generation. You can't map it, you can't plan for it, you can't predict what you're going to get. And I can see why we often think about apple trees at the very beginning of these religious stories, the Hebrew texts, the tree of life, the tree of knowledge of good and evil. They talk about fruit trees, or often it's talked about as an apple tree, because that kind of makes sense to me on a biological level, the idea that it's explosive in its creativity. It's the beginning of the creative unfolding. If you know anything about heterozygous seeds, do leave me a link. I'd love to learn a bit more. It's very interesting. That's a good strong bird call, that. It feels good to be back. Making videos is hard work, I remember that now. But it is a very special thing to do, to not just tell you what I'm up to, but to share it with you, and for what you say and do to literally inform what we create here, what we make together. And I feel incredibly lucky to be in this space, and I hope that we will unlock a lot of value and potential for a lot of different people all over the world, and for the people locally in the area here, and for people that come and visit as well. I just hope it's fun. It's meant to be. Nature and creation is meant to be somewhere we enjoy ourselves and feel at peace. May the good times roll. I will see you next Thursday, 9 PM. Take care of yourselves and look after each other.